anybody can do it and it doesn't take any skill or talent. Like I used to think, that's how I used to think about homemaking until I actually had to do it.
She texts me and she's like, I might work out if the vibes are right. And I'm there in my cozy sweater.
We are not here to pretend to be trendy or anything. I think it's interesting to see the trajectory of culture because
I can't really tell that I noticed any difference health-wise, but it made me feel like I was doing good things.
I wouldn't know a yuzu fruit if it hit me over the head.
To do that more, like buy quality pieces that will last longer, but like sometimes I really just want the cute junk. This fall, we had 2 gender reveals in our family and they were the first ones. And I think my parents have come around a little bit.
Yeah, so we're going to throw out most of those parenting trends.
Yeah, virtual parenting supports, like seeking advice and support online.
No, seek parental advice and support from people who've been there before in your own life.
Yeah.
Like older women at church or your mom or
mother-in-law.
Wow, our notes are pretty short today.
Yikes.
We actually have a lot to chat about, I'm afraid. Yeah. I'm not afraid it will go long. I like the long ones.
Yeah, me too.
As long as we're not just blabbing. And I think we have an agenda today that we want to cover. We actually saw each other this week in real life. That was fun.
Yes, we did.
I mean, we do hang out outside of the podcast too. But
Quite
yeah,
a
it was
bit,
fun. Our
but-
husbands planned a quadruple date. Like, who are they?
Was it 5 couples?
Oh, quadruple.
It was 5 couples. It was almost too many. Like, I wouldn't want to cut anyone out, but it was almost too many to have like a cohesive conversation. I felt like there were sometimes multiple conversations or you couldn't really hear it was kind of chaotic in the best possible way.
Yeah,
but,
there was no kids, so it wasn't as big of a deal.
Right, but it was almost like, I think it was probably too many to have the ideal dinner date.
So you have a 9-year-old that you took out to a steakhouse for his birthday. You ordered
did.
like a real steak off the big menu and everything. And then you're like, okay, we're going to go back without kids.
Yeah.
Was that the idea kind of?
We had to go to the library to renew Finley's passport. And it happened to be on Jack's birthday. And I hadn't cooked, obviously, because we left at dinner time. And then we're like, hey, let's go out for dinner. And we're like, hey, we could go to this really nice restaurant. And we're like, yeah, it's his birthday. Why not? And Jack was all about it. And we're like, okay, it's your birthday, so you can order like a steak off the menu. And he ate it all. We helped him a little bit, but yeah, it was fun and it felt good to like treat him.
He felt so grown up.
He felt so grown up. Yeah.
Anyway, so then we all went to the steakhouse last night.
It's actually a seafood place, but they happen to have good steaks.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I ordered seafood. I was feeling dumb ordering seafood
Well,
at a steak
I don't know.
place.
It's just like a fine dining restaurant. I don't know if they have.
Gotcha. My salmon was superb. I ate all of it.
Yeah, I had the broiled seafood combo. So it was like crab cake, stuffed fish, and stuffed shrimp. It was really good.
I love ordering seafood at restaurants because I don't cook it very much at all. I don't often have it in my freezer. And I have steaks in my freezer. I know that sounds kind of bougie, but we get a whole beef at a time. So we're paying the same price for the steaks as we are for the hamburger.
Right.
Like it's just a flat rate. So we have steaks semi-often. I grew up with steaks pretty often and never really appreciated them. So I love seafood. And
I rarely order a steak at a restaurant. I usually get chicken or seafood.
we went to a Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for our 5th anniversary, and I was like just seeing how happy Josh was. Like I sat there and we like just dissected everything about the food and talked about it. Like we were like real foodies. It was like so fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe we can do this in another 5 years. So we go to a fancy steakhouse like once every 5 years. Like fancy.
Yeah.
Like
I've never been
stupid fancy. You know what I mean? Like
I've never been to Ruth's Chris. It's a terrible name. But
yeah.
I would like to go sometime.
He must be a famous chef or something. I don't know. But they
it's
do like
Ruth's
butter on their steak.
Chris. Like what's up with that?
I don't know.
Why?
Ruth's
Chris. Who's Ruth's Chris? Like
I don't know. They don't have him in this area, but he went on a business trip to Texas with his employer one time and was introduced to the fine world of steaks, I guess.
Nice.
Do you have a gift of gab for today? Or it looks like I put one on for this time. When do you feel like you are using your strengths as a homemaker, and how? I thought this was an interesting question because it was actually in, do you ever hear of the Love Wick app?
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's Christian or anything. Like there's some odd options on there and stuff, but it's a free app that your sister-in-law, Whitney, introduced to me.
Oh.
And it has like conversation starters and different topics. And the one topic was like a career topic, and I just clicked on it, and it was, you're supposed to ask your spouse how they feel like they are using their talents in their employment. And I'm like, that's an interesting question.
That is.
Because like I think every job that you have, there's things that you don't feel qualified to do. Like, for instance, I had a parenting issue to deal with tonight as a mom, and I felt very unqualified to do it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've never crossed this boundary. I've never crossed this path before. Like, my kids are growing up. The problems are getting deeper, more complex, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I definitely didn't feel in my wheelhouse. But there's other times as a mom and a homemaker that I feel like, oh my goodness, I'm like good at this type of thing. And I think sometimes people can undervalue the position of a homemaker, as in like anybody can do it and it doesn't take any skill or talent. Like I used to think, that's how I used to think about homemaking until I actually had to do it. So does anything come to your mind in the specific, I know you have another career too, but in your career as a homemaker?
Oh man, that's a really hard question. Why can I not think it? Like, it's probably not cooking.
So like I was gonna say cooking, cleaning. For me, it's delegation. Like I am really good at like Yvonne, you do this, Fletcher do that. Like, and I can like have 14 things going at once. I can like dispatch, and like that is actually one of my spiritual gifts is administration. Like being a leader. Not all moms or homemakers are good leaders.
Yeah.
They can look around and see that their house is a wreck, but their brain can't think of like how to make it happen, or you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, I'm pretty good at like the dispatching thing and like having a plan and having systems. Like I love to have systems that just kind of run themselves. So that's where I feel like I can excel in that. There's things I don't excel in, but that's not the question.
Yeah, I would say, I guess, I don't know, aren't all moms like this though? Like I have a pretty good knack for seeing what needs to be done immediately, like top priority and prioritizing, I guess, and tackling things from most important to least important and getting the stuff done and just doing it and seeing what needs to be done.
Not everybody's good at that. So.
And do it, and rather than getting sidetracked with a thing over here that could be done an hour from now after the thing that's really important, that, you know, the noodles are cooking over on the stove or whatever. Just seeing what really needs to be done.
And that's something that you have a strength in. And that's a really important strength, because if you don't have that, like,
I guess I just tend to assume that like everyone is good at that, but maybe not.
Yeah. No, I mean, the more people you
I guess it comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
So like I don't get like overwhelmed or fatigued about thinking what needs to be done. It's pretty easy in my mind to be like, okay, well, this needs to be done first, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then, but before I know it, everything's done.
Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Everything. I don't know what the word done means. Like I always have like everything like going all at the same time, but that's great. So yeah, I don't know. I think that sometimes it's good to focus on your strengths and not always like beating yourself up over the things that you're not getting done or accomplished or whatever. So next time you're with your friends, see what they have to say about that topic, which I just take that for granted that people have fellow homemakers in their lives, you know? But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a rare thing or not. I can't believe we're at the end. We're at the end of this season.
Oh, yeah.
And we're also at the end of this year. Like, it's crazy.
So
we're going to take January off, and you guys will see our next video, Lord willing, will be up in February. We'll start season 7. Last year, I feel like there was a trend going around on Instagram that said, things I'm leaving in 2023
yes, I remember that.
Things I'm taking into 2024. And like, they were interesting to read. Like, I think I read the first 5 or 6 that came across my page, and then they kind of all said the same thing, and I was done.
Right.
But I've seen a trend or heard a trend this year in podcasts where people react to predicted trends that are going to be trendy in 2025. And while we are not here to pretend to be trendy or anything, I think it's interesting to see the trajectory of culture, because yes, we're Mennonites, we're separate from the world, all of that, but we're living in a culture ourselves, and we're living in the mainstream culture too, even though we're maybe not as entangled with it or as concerned about what is trendy.
We're
and all
more
that.
like on the outside looking in, but we see it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't not. I mean,
so just keep that in mind. That's the perspective we're speaking from today. But I actually went on Instagram Meta. They have like an AI thing, and I asked, what are some trends for 2025 in the genre of, and now I have 6 different topics here, and we're just going to talk about them, react to them. It's just very fascinating stuff. We have upcoming trends in homemaking, in cooking, housekeeping, parenting trends, lifestyle, and slow living. So that's what you can look forward to in this episode. A big shout out to Voetberg Music Academy for sponsoring this episode.
give the gift of music this holiday season with Voetberg Music Academy's gift card Christmas special. Instead of learning music in isolation, VoetbergMusicAcademy.com encourages family to learn together.
In fact, with our code HOMEMAKER20, you can get 20% off all of your children learning piano, guitar, mandolin, violin, or ukulele for less than $30 a month. Yep, say goodbye to budgeting hundreds of dollars a month for just one child to take lessons.
On top of that, the Voetberg method provides community with thousands of other like-minded Christian families to celebrate with and learn from. Students are given accountability, performance opportunity, seasonal challenges like the December Jingle Jam Challenge, live feedback from their instructor, and printables to help them stay on track.
The Voetberg method approaches music differently, and instead of teaching theory, note reading, and tedious technical skills first, they skip straight to giving students a love of music so they can't wait to sit down to practice. With by-ear training and song-based learning, students see immediate results right from the first lesson.
And what makes it even better? They can earn visual reminders of their hard work with the Voetberg method's rank system that mails badges and rank pins right to your doorstep.
Use our code HOMEMAKER20 to get 20% off every month your family is enrolled and learn music in a way that sticks. I don't want to gloss over the fact that I feel very privileged to be able to work with Voteberg Music Academy in 2024, as it's something my family uses and loves. Josh and Ivani are both using it, and I feel very strongly that if you want a kid to stick with an instrument, they have to love it. If they hate the lessons, they're not going to stick with it. And so I really do stand behind what Voteberg Music Academy stands for, and I appreciate that they are a partner on our channel. So some trends that are predicted, it says here, some trends that are predicted for 2025 focus on creating inviting, relaxing, and personalized spaces that reflect individuality and style. Do you remember when everybody wanted like open concept everything, open concept, and then 2020 hit? And all of a sudden they're like, give me my space.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go in my office. I want to, and so then you started seeing more people put up, a few walls here and there. But
some walls are good.
Yeah. I still think like a lot of people still love the open concept idea. But yeah, it's just funny. That's one specific trend that I can think of that also like I've heard that neutrals are always in style more so in a recession and like classic things, which makes sense because you can't be as trendy.
Yeah. Play it safe.
Yeah, exactly. You want your money to be an investment kind of and like to last longer. And I think that's a good mindset even when times are good. You really want to repaint every 3 years or whatever.
Well, the things that are costly or the things that are more of an investment choose neutrals, but then the cheap things that are going to wear out or the things that are inexpensive, then you can do what's trendy or what's add your color and your interest there instead of like a wall color. That's a pretty big investment in money and time to change that. So maybe do your walls neutral, but then your throw pillows. Although throw pillows, what is with the cost of a throw pillow? Excuse me? Are you okay?
$85 for this cover.
Like,
just for the cover.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
The cute ones. I have expensive taste, I guess.
So maybe, I don't know what you're going to find that's, I don't know, a flower vase or what's something fun that you can
go
just...
thrifting. I don't know, your clothes. You can
or even like a photo to hang on the wall, like art. You can get pretty inexpensive art that's like trendy or a pop of color or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, but all the interior designers are like, paint. Just have fun with your paint color because you can just always repaint it. And I'm always like, just repaint it? Like, oh my goodness.
It's like a whole day of or more.
I know. And like this whole like stick on wallpaper, you can just take it off when you want. It's so expensive, and putting it up and taking it down is so much work. Like,
we saw.
You want to be married to it for at least a little.
For sure.
My goodness. So some other trends they're predicting for this year is layered lighting, which I think that's been around for a while, like using multiple sources of light.
So that means like a recessed lighting and a lamp.
Like the romantic lighting. And
I like at the bottom it says handmade artisan designs. I think anytime that you can decorate your home with something that you made with your own hands, it just adds more personality or makes it more personal.
Yes, or when you buy something, like I've splurged on a few things here and there from Etsy or something, and you know that somebody made that mug or made that bowl or like whatever, and it feels so much more special. You can even find like small business stuff on Amazon, I'm finding here and there.
You can.
And that's just always warms my heart. But obviously you can't just make everything that, Sometimes IKEA has its place.
There's a place for the mass production.
I like the stoneware because it says statement stoneware featuring natural materials like marble and travertine in decorative pieces. Because I can't necessarily maybe afford the marble backsplash and countertop or something, but you can add it in something smaller. Mixed metals, which praise the Lord, I think that might be partly due to like 2020, and I'm not sure why, but like mixed metals have been in for a little bit. I'm like, praise the Lord, because it's so much cheaper and so much.
Yeah, you don't have to stress about everything being cohesive.
Yeah, like you can mix black and gold or whatever. Although we redid our powder room, and I again went with like the aged gold look, which I also did to our bathroom upstairs like a year ago, and I had the same problem again. I don't know why I didn't learn, but it's so hard to match golds. Like there's aged gold and brushed gold and bright gold and white gold, and like anyway, you have to literally order it in and see what it looks like, because some is really yellow or some is like almost like a greeny gold type of thing. Anyway, so gold is a harder one to match. I think like that matte black is probably really easy because it all kind of looks the same. What do you think of this brown decor? Is that something you would take into 2025?
I'm not about it.
I'm a brown girl over a gray girl though. Like I like warm stuff, not gray. So if you're picking brown or gray, I like the brown.
Yeah,
I mean, look at my living room.
When I got married, our living room walls were No, they were tan. I don't know.
Curved edges. I think this is just impractical and something I will not be taking into 2025 with me.
What does that mean?
Like pairing curves with waved edges to create a softer, more fluid space. So like, the curvy mirrors and like, I love like the curved archways and stuff. That's really pretty. But like, it's not, unless you're building a brand new home and stuff,
right.
Like it's not a very easy design trend to incorporate. Or like the rounded sofas, like the round.
Ooh, yeah.
You could do like a round pillow. That might be, if you like that design. Or like a mirror is not that huge of an investment. I just feel like it's going to be out so fast. So
yeah,
like think hard.
That's more of like a structural consideration.
Here then we have current lifestyle trends, which I think is very interesting. I think we've definitely seen a trend over the years of people becoming more and more, or less and less social, more and more like in their own bubble. And like, I don't know if that was a result of COVID that like accelerated it, but now, I've seen that a lot of people said then after COVID, the trend was everything to be like as in-person event. Like everybody wanted to get out and do things, and now they can have their weddings and like all that stuff. So it's interesting now that we're a couple years removed, 2025, if we're going to be swinging back the other way again. I don't know. That's just something that's on my heart. Like people, longevity is a trend that people are going to be very interested in and searching for in 2025, like trying to live to be 100, or like, who's the guy that's like all into like the optimizing your body and like doing the cold plunges and like all those things. Like, I don't get into it. Huberman?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like all that stuff. But what kills people the fastest is loneliness. And like, I feel like that's something that people a lot of times gloss over. And the most happy, long-living people are people that have community. And we have to like live in community. So I hope that's on this list. I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, number 5 is primal fitness. This trend emphasizes natural movements like lifting, carrying, and squatting without special equipment or training, prioritizing functional fitness for overall health. I thought of you on this one.
Functional fitness.
You're like, you hate working out, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Do you want to tell the story of going to the park the other day? It was so funny.
Yeah, she's like...
It was a Sunday afternoon. The guys were golfing. It was like a semi-warm... 50 degrees.
It was a nice day.
Yeah, it was
with
nice.
a slight chill.
Yeah.
But she texts me and she's like, I might work out if the vibes are right. And I'm there in my cozy sweater.
Meaning, I meant like if I get there and there's not like a ton of people at the park watching this Mennonite lady doing squats, like if the vibes are right.
I kind of knew what you meant, but like I'm sitting there in my cozy sweater contemplating what coffee drink I'm gonna make to take along, and I'm like, yeah, no. And I was laughing, and Eric's like, what are you laughing about? I was like, I showed him what you said, and he's like, tell her they ain't gonna be vibing. They're not gonna be there.
So I showed up in my workout clothes and my sneakers, my 4 kids and 3 bikes and all this stuff.
And she got her workout
and my weights, and I was so sore I couldn't hardly walk. I just I got lost in track of doing squats. Like I stopped doing all the other exercises and just got stuck doing squats because we were talking.
Yeah.
And I was so sore.
Really?
That's just like hilarious. You were walking so weird in your boots. I'm like, I can't walk. I'm so sore.
That's hilarious.
And anyway, but yeah. So about that. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So I showed up with 4 kids, all the bikes, all this stuff. And I'm like holding all these things. I have my yoga mat, my weights, and I'm like struggling getting over to the bike park. And then Jada's coming with her coffee in her cute little pink mug.
Dude, I almost brought a blanket.
Yeah. And she's like holding that. And what did you have in your other hand?
Maybe a scooter.
A jacket. No, I think she had just her jacket or something. Anyway, and her Jack is like, Mom, can you help me carry this? And she's like, do I look like I can help you? And I'm like, I looked down at my hands, and you were just trotting along with your coffee, and I was like laying it down like a pack me on. I'm like, I'll help you, Jack.
Well,
and then,
the kid can make 2 trips. Yeah. He can make 2 trips.
So I was trying to guilt trip you there a little. It was hilarious. Anyway, so Jada sat there in her cozy sweater with her coffee and talked with me while I did squats and lunges and mountain climbers.
I just wasn't feeling it. Like usually I would go for a walk, and I was going to, and then I just didn't get around to it. But
we were talking, so
I didn't want to leave the conversation.
Anyway, so if you don't like exercising, it looks like it's saying
you're in good company.
Yeah. Anything else stand out to you?
Yes.
On this lifestyle trend
The
list?
functional beverages is cracking me up. It says consumers are turning to beverages that support metabolism, immune function, and relaxation, such as plant-based energy drinks and matcha-infused lattes. So one thing I did try for the first time this year, I think the first time, is matcha. And I realized that I like a good matcha latte. Magnolia Coffee I like to try their seasonal flavored matchas. And I feel like I can make my coffee at home. Just as good They have good coffee, not gonna lie, but I can make a good coffee at home. I'm not gonna make matcha, so it's one thing I can order that's like out of my ordinary. It's extra special,
And it's pretty.
It's pretty,
Especially with like the strawberry foam on
yeah,
top.
and it's not half bad. So that's been my go-to order lately.
Oh.
But anyway, so I guess I'm on trend.
Yeah, I guess you are.
If you want to try a green drink, I got Clean Simple Eats. I think it was a peach flavored green powder, and I finished. It was a big bag, and I finished the whole thing. And I should order more. It was so expensive, but I really actually enjoyed it, and I found myself like craving it. Like I kind of got what they say about like you crave this green drink, and I did. I finished the whole. Well, I maybe threw a little bit away at the end because it got clumpy because I wasn't careful about closing it properly.
I think you can get it at Target.
Yeah, so that's actually one that tastes good. I would recommend that one.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to try. I saw different influencers were like promoting it and saying you can get it at Target. So hey, maybe could you add it to you add it to water, right?
Yeah.
Could you add it to sparkling water?
Sometimes I would make like a concoction of some sparkling water, and I think the one time I added mango juice or something and made like a mocktail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
And it blended pretty nicely.
I just feel like my skin might be better if I would do that.
I can't really tell that I noticed any difference health-wise, but it made me feel like I was doing good things.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Especially some days you look back and you're like, what did I even eat today? Like, I just grounged out of the fridge and like whatever. Slow living is still on trend, which I think we saw that really blow up in the past. People are prioritizing meaningful, mindful living over constant busyness, focusing on family, self-care, and minimalism. And I can be in that bubble so much more if I'm not on my phone and not like, oh my goodness, like especially the holiday season here we've just been in, you see all these different things in your area that we live in Lancaster County. So I feel like there's a lot of options out there. And I have all these little family traditions that we look forward to, but then I see what other people are doing. Oh, I want to do that too. And pretty much soon you're like so running ragged.
Well, you have a severe case of FOMO.
Oh my word.
I don't have that.
Josh and I were talking about this last night. Because we were like talking about possibly people going to Florida and stuff, and I was like, I'm just gonna pray they don't go to Florida because if they do, we'll just have to go.
You will have to.
Grown adults who have not grown out of our FOMO.
You can't say no.
We have a fear of missing out on everything. Like we have to be there for the party.
Yeah, you do. You really do. You got to work on that. Number 3 is mental health focus. And it says the stigma around mental health is easing with more people seeking help through apps, therapy, and lifestyle changes. I think that's great. I think the danger in that is becoming more. Like I see a trend of people becoming selfish and focused on self, which for me, when I focus on myself, I feel like my mental health is even worse. And a great thing to do is to get your eyes off of yourself and look at someone else and focus on others. And I know there is a balance. You have to take care of yourself too. But as Christians, our identity is found in Christ. And I think you can really make self an idol in your life. And in the end, it's not going to be great for your mental health. And I think we see that in society around us with the terrible mental health situation that we do have. And people will say, put yourself first. And it sounds good, but it's in reality a lie from Satan.
Yeah, because it doesn't actually bring you joy at all.
No.
And I think it comes from the people putting themselves up on a pedestal. And I forget what the actual theological word is for it, but making yourself a god.
Yeah.
If you are looking to yourself for everything, that whole you can do it girl and you're everything and all that stuff is such a lie. And so people put all this effort into fixing themselves and making themselves better. I think there is a productive way to go through therapy and try to like work through things, trauma in your past, things like that. But yes, 100%, there's definitely a negative way of doing that as well. Yeah. And I feel like this could be a whole podcast topic for sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's focus on mental health, but let's make sure we're doing it in a biblical way, in a way that honors God and making our relationship with God our priority and not our relationship with ourselves.
Yes, and do it in like the right dosage.
Yeah.
Like when I am in my feels and I'm like down or depressed or whatever, it helps me to do something for someone else and to think about someone else. And so I like that. I hope that even in the Mennonite community, we keep continuing to destigmatize mental health.
Yeah.
And not that's a worse sin, something else, or like when somebody's struggling, it almost feels like dirtier or worse or something. But I think we're just behind a little bit on that in some ways.
Yeah, well, I think because we're scared of what we're talking about, you know, taking our focus on ourselves and not becoming self-centered and self-focused, because we know the dangers in that, but there is a proper way to go about caring for your own mental health. Whether that may be needing medication or therapy or whatever that may be. And I think you can do all that and still keep a proper perspective.
For sure. Switching gears, these two things are related to babies, which I love the one and I hate the other one. The first one is gender reveal parties are going to be trending. Celebrating the reveal of a baby's gender with family and friends. I think we've seen that a lot in 2024.
Like, is that new?
That's nothing new. Like it's just getting more and more over the top all the time. But I love it. I'm like people out there are still celebrating, like trying to find out the gender of their baby, even though gender is like so bended nowadays. Yeah. Like people can't even define which one is which anymore. Like, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Like, you're having a gender reveal part. Anyway, so I just like to see that is trending.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? I know you and your sisters and stuff. You never find out what you're having or anything.
Well, we did. We had this fall, we had 2 gender reveals in our family, and they were the first ones. And I think my parents have come around a little bit, and it was fun. Like, they liked it, and I didn't hear any complaints from them. So,
but no, I'm not here to spiritualize that you must have a gender reveal party or anything. But the other one is baby mania, sharing every milestone of a child's life on social media.
Yikes!
I'm like, you mean it's gonna get worse than it already is?
Yikes!
Like, ooh, I don't follow accounts like what are you trying to do? Like compare. Oh, your baby's doing this at 6 months and this baby, then I fell in that trap with my first. What are they supposed to be doing at this month or that month? Trying to get them to do the next thing and like coaching them. Like, okay, well, maybe they can start walking now or whatever, and rushing it along. And then after the first one, I realized how fast things happen. And milestones are actually something to be very celebrated. They're markers of good things like health in your child and everything. Mm-hmm. Send a Snapchat to the mom, to the grandma, like whatever.
I'm surprised that it says that because I have felt that the trend was pulling back from that and, valuing some privacy and taking kids off the internet for their safety. I'm kind of surprised I know. Are you sure that's not on the out list?
It says some current parenting trends. So
maybe it's like nefarious and they want us to think that that's in so that we do it and they have nefarious intentions.
Well, please don't do that. Yeah, anyway.
Be careful.
I think it's great, but I do need to do better at recording that stuff in my kids' albums and everything. So that I can remember. Sleep training is coming back. Oh my goodness, that used to be like demonized. I know that you're so far removed from the sleep training thing.
I'm out of this one.
But it says teaching babies to self-soothe and sleep independently is in. I don't know how you can make that a trend. I'm sorry. Like, it's in or out. Like, let's be trendy and sleep train our child. If you're following the trends to know how to parent,
yikes.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say yikes again.
You might be on the wrong rail, like the wrong train track. Oh my goodness. Being a little extra. You know what? I think this is trying to like push an agenda.
I think so too. Also, this one is, I do not agree with like anything they're saying.
I don't like any of these. Being a little extra, creating a magical experiences for children, like Elf on the Shelf. Oh, okay. I like to be a little extra.
Everyone wins, focusing on fairness and equality where every child is a winner.
Oh, barf. Actually, I'm sure that is trending.
That I believe.
I don't like that trend.
We need to teach our children how to lose gracefully too.
Oh my goodness. And how can you feel... I mean, I get where this comes from, like not making a huge deal that you weren't the winner, but how do you feel that sense of satisfaction if you can't be the winner?
Yeah, it takes it away. Like, you can't enjoy the win if you haven't had the loss. The kindergartners crack me up. We play Sequence like every day. And like with Sequence is like a board game with their letters. It's helping them learn their letters and the sounds and stuff. And these are some intense games of Sequence. Like, the teacher was like, are you guys tired of it? I'm like, nope, keep bringing it on. Like, we want to play it again because they're so into it and I get into it. But it cracks me up because they're like, one person will get, the X or the Y card where you can add a button wherever. And they're like, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's just a game. And you can tell that they're just like, and they're like, I don't care. It just cracks me up because they're like trying so hard to be mature. The one team will be like, we won, and the other team will be like, it doesn't matter, it's just a game.
Yeah, it's just like if you were the winner, it would not just be a game.
Exactly. It's so cute. And I was like, well, it feels good to win, doesn't it? And we have to learn to be gracious when we lose, but they're kindergartners, so
they're learning.
It's so cute.
I think as a parent, it is important to make sure that, like, your children best. Make sure that they are the winner at something. Like, create your own category. If you have a child that's never the winner or always behind or just can't keep up or maybe has some of his own challenges or whatever, create an atmosphere where they are going to be the best or the winner.
There's always something.
There's always something you can look for that, yes, maybe they're not the most artistic or the most athletic or whatever, but there's something that you can praise them for that they are the best in without creating like this whole competitive culture all the time either. Just knowing that you can excel at something is really morale building for a child, I guess. Yeah, so we're going to throw out most of those parenting trends.
Yeah, virtual parenting supports, like seeking advice and support online.
No, excuse me. Seek parental advice and support from people who've been there before in your own life.
Yeah.
Like older women at church or your mom or
mother-in-law.
Yes, listen to our last episode if you have not. It is kind of speaking around Christmas, but not really at all. It's not. It's like a perfect time to listen
Yeah.
to it anytime because it's about in-laws. What are some current cooking trends? Which is very interesting because I actually love like a trend that I got behind. I like cooking trends because I get excited about cooking over again. Like, was it 2 years ago? It was that feta cheese in the, what is it, like a block of feta, tomatoes, and everything you stick in the oven,
yeah.
like the
Did you
viral
try that
feta
one?
pasta or whatever.
Yeah.
That was, I made it one time, but that was like a big thing. And then I remember when charcuterie boards came in.
Yes.
I remember when smoking your meat, that
Oh, yeah.
became a trend. Like, I love all the trends and just like interesting things. Creamies, I've noticed, are really in for people that like their protein shakes and stuff.
Instant Pot.
Instant Pot was a big trend there for a while.
Yeah.
I didn't fall on that bandwagon, but Jana loves it for your rice. Is that what you said?
No, I did not
your
want.
bone broth.
Eric got me one because he thought I would love it. I like it for bone broth. That's what I use it for.
Before we even look at this, if we can make something a trend, the trend I jumped on for 2024 was the viral cucumber salad things. I am so embarrassing. It's been like ever since this summer, like, so 6 months. I've been making the cucumber salad, the version with the like sesame oil, rice vinegar, chili onion crunch, soy sauce, peanut butter,
Ew.
sesame seeds. It's like an Asian version.
Yeah.
It is so good. And you do it with a fresh cucumber, and it feels healthy, and it's just divine. Like, I'll eat a whole cucumber that way. And I do that like twice a week, 6 months in.
Wow.
I do not get sick of it. It's crazy. I'm not even pregnant.
I want to try the way you make it sometime. I made one,
make it.
and it was okay. But
Did you do like the feta, mayo, lemon?
No, I
That
just
one's
used
good
what I
too.
had, and it was like the Asian one, like with the rice vinegar.
I want to try one that I saw Bobby Flay do, where it's like cilantro, lime, avocado,
Ooh,
like a Mexican
that sounds
flair.
really
I'm like,
good.
ooh. Anyway, so yeah, before we look at this, what would be something that you would love to see a trend in the food department? Mac and cheese?
Oh, I was literally thinking that.
Sorry, I took the words right out
Hot
of your
dogs.
mouth.
Actually,
green
we
juices
do-
were a thing for a while.
No.
Like, I don't have an apparatus for that.
Grilled cheese. That would be fun.
Like 50 different ways. Yeah, paninis were there for a thing for a while.
I like a good
paninis.
sandwich. I'm trying to think of something that doesn't make me look like a total fatty.
Oh,
And
that's
I
fun.
can't. I'm just thinking like grilled cheese, mac and cheese, hot dogs.
Yeah.
Like hot dogs with like interesting toppings. Eric likes to do that, like put random weird things on his hot dogs.
Well, personally for me, I'm a YouTuber, so maybe like starchy foods will start trending into the health thing, and I could be like, oh, I'm a Mennonite cook. I know all
There you
about
go.
the start. I can make the best brown butter noodles.
Brown
and, like,
butter.
like all the yeah. Anyway, but no, I don't really want that to trend for health reasons. But
Yeah. I'm trying to think like what.
you know what? I hope trends some kind of recipe for green beans, because we have so many green beans in our freezer, and I run out of ways to make them. I think.
Oh
that
my
would be
goodness,
fun.
I love green beans.
See, nobody loves
Krista?
green beans.
Krista?
Like, you're bizarre. You love green beans. The only way I love them is when they're fattening.
Well, yeah, but no, I like green beans with just like salt and pepper and butter. Like,
See, I make
simple.
them like asparagus in the pan. That's
Yeah,
how I like them.
blistered
like
green beans.
garlic and bacon, stuff like that.
I actually do genuinely love green beans.
I love them too.
Krista makes this green bean casserole. It's like green beans and then like some sort of, I don't know if it's cream cheese or some sort of white sauce, and then it has cracker crumbs on top, I think. Oh, crunchy onions.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Or I make a green bean casserole for Thanksgiving sometimes or Christmas with homemade cream of mushroom soup and then actual onion rings on the top. It's delicious.
Wow. I hope tomato sandwiches trend, because there's like 50,000 ways to make a tomato sandwich. I love a good tomato sandwich in the summer.
I could get behind that.
I like this trend. It says predicted for 2025 cooking trends that will be in eating the seasons, which is awesome. Seasonal eating is becoming more popular with a focus on farm to table and locally sourced ingredients. Which I wonder how big of a trend that can be with how crazy the food prices are. But maybe
Well,
if
you're
you're
buying
shopping
local-
local, we are so blessed with a produce stand on every corner.
But
Other
isn't
areas,
there a way? I mean, I guess I don't know, but I would assume you might have to look harder. But I mean,
have you ever went to a market like in Lancaster City or Philly or whatever? Like
Yeah.
a box of strawberries is $8-10
wow.
because it's like a food desert.
There's one in Why I'm Missing sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't know. We live in the country, so that's an easy one to come by. Urban farm produce, kind of the same thing. Community gardens, fresh produce, butter boards.
I thought they were out. Like,
Butter boards? I thought everybody tried that trend and it wasn't good and they moved on.
yeah, I feel like that's a no.
I've had a butter board one time and it was fun to try, but I just felt fat.
I made
and,
one
like,
once.
It's an appetizer. I think it was fun, but like you need other things too. You can't just sit there and gorge yourself on butter and bread and like crackers and stuff.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
It's fun, but
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
is
sure
fun.
that it's still a trend. I think they're wrong about that.
I don't know. Charcuterie boards, I think, are sticking around because they're just so
Charcuterie
versatile.
boards are what's up.
And you can make them pretty. We're not worried about COVID anymore. Knock on wood. No.
They're the best.
Like,
I love them.
They're so pretty. I just made one the other week again. I feel like you can make a nice Christmas version.
Ugh, peppers and hot flavors. That's going to have to be a no for me.
Oh, I don't mind a little bit of heat. Like, especially like in different ways, like mixing heat with
Like the boom boom shrimp that we had last night.
Did you like that?
Yes. And that's pretty spicy, but I like that. Me and my brother were just talking about...
You consider that spicy?
Yeah. Me and my brother were talking about how it's kind of spicy, but like we can handle it because it doesn't linger.
Because of the breading.
I don't know.
So funny because I do not touch shrimp with a 10-foot pole. Like, ew, it's like slimy bodies from the ocean. Like, it's the whole body. You're eating it. Anyway, I just don't do shrimp. But it was breaded, and I was like, I'm going to make myself proud. I'm going to try it. It didn't look like a shrimp. It looked like a ball of dough or whatever. And I ate one, and I did not like it, but I ate it, and it had a kick to it. Yeah. But I can't believe you thought that was spicy.
Well, yeah.
I'm not even a crazy spicy girl.
It was like almost more than I could handle, but it's so good, so I could.
Yeah, it says hibachi is going to be a trend, which I think that's interesting because I remember back in the day, like that used to be like the Mennonite small group thing to do. Like everybody goes sits around and has like the hibachi. Like
we do it on our Blackstone. I mean, a version of it. It's probably not very authentic, but it's fun.
Yeah, hibachi food trucks, catering services on the rise, island flavors.
I like island flavors.
I like that. Yes, give me some good jerk chicken. This is more like...
I don't know what yuzu fruit is.
Yeah, I know. It says yuzu fruit is trending. That's interesting. I have persimmons sitting on my counter that I have no idea what to do with, but I'm like, we're going to try these. You never know. You might like them. I don't have high expectations or anything, but maybe I should try yuzu fruit.
I'd definitely try it.
I wouldn't know a yuzu fruit if it hit me over the head. I wouldn't know.
Nope.
Oh, man. Asian sweets. I mean, I've seen lots of... We drove past a candy store coming out of Lancaster. It was called Candy Imported from Sweden. And all I could think of was that song from like High School Musical back in the day. Fabulous. That song. No?
I've seen the movie, but I don't remember the
Turkey
song.
Imported from Maine.
Oh.
Fabulous.
I'm just thinking avocados from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Anyway, so then the rest of the day I was like singing like the Fabulous song in my head, and I'm like,
That's
how
funny.
in the world? I did not hear that song since I was like 14, but
mochi.
I'm behind that. I can get down with that. Josh thinks it tastes like skin.
It tastes like raw dough to me.
I served that when you guys were over there. Did your boys even touch it?
Yeah, I think they actually ate the one kind.
I bribe my kids with mochi. Like once in a great while, if we get through the aisles at Aldi, the last one you come to is like the frozen section, and there's mochi there. And if it was like a good trip, I'll be like, well, do you want to pick out some mochi? Because it's like expensive.
Yeah.
Anyway, they love it. Anything else we want to hit on with this one? I think we were pretty thorough in the food department.
Current housekeeping. Did we do that? No.
Software orientation. That stresses me out. I do have a Roborock that I love and run multiple times a day sometimes.
We were driving home from church, and I was wishing that I had Bluetooth on my oven that I could get it preheating a while because we were in a time crunch because Megan wanted to go to the park and exercise. And I was like, I need to get my oven heating up so that I can slap the chicken patties in there as soon as we get home. And I just had to sit there and waste time driving, and my oven was cold.
That's awful. Our hunger knows no bounds on Sundays after church.
I know.
Like, we literally came home from church and we didn't even have time to heat up a frozen pizza because by the time the oven preheated and we got the pizza made, we were like, we got to eat sooner than that. We got to eat sooner than that.
I know there's time bake, but I don't trust it.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to also put a frozen pizza in the oven ahead of time. Like, you're supposed to put it in frozen.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had breakfast for lunch, and it was amazing. And we ate within, like, 15 minutes rather than 45.
That's what we usually do, but I was running really low on eggs, and I hadn't gotten any bacon or anything out to thaw, or any meat. Yeah. So we couldn't do that.
Which, if this conversation is interesting to you, definitely go listen to our podcast episode we just did a little bit ago on groceries. We have a lot of like fast, quick ideas in there because we're like gals on the go and we sometimes need a fast food solution. Anyway, we're talking about housekeeping trends here for 2025. Emphasis on safety and security. Hotels are prioritizing housekeeper safety with protocols like verification of guest identities, secure communication systems, and safety training.
Sure, sounds good.
You're traveling. I guess you'll get to reap some of those perks while you're in Florida.
I see no problems.
Down at the bottom, it has a summarization. These trends reflect the evolving needs and expectations of households and hotel guests, prioritizing convenience, sustainability, and personalized experiences, which I thought is hilarious because you can rarely have convenience and sustainability in the same sentence. Yeah. It's like you pick one.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Is there anything on here you want to hit?
I like the personalized services. There's a growing demand for tailored housekeeping services, including organizing closets, caring for delicate fabrics, and customized cleaning experiences. My one friend was telling me how she knows this girl who hates doing laundry. And she really likes teaching kids or like cooking with kids. So they swapped services. My friend does this girl's laundry, and in exchange, this girl takes her daughter. I think she said she like bakes with her, cooks with her, does some like hands-on thing with her. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I would not want someone else doing my laundry, and I don't mind doing laundry. But like, if there is something that you really hate, someone else probably likes that. And if you can find a way, like they do, to make it work, sounds great.
Did you know, now this is for one of my many podcasts I listen to or something, I'm not sure where, but the evolution of people actually hiring things out, like the whole, what is that space called? Like not e-commerce, but like the trades and everything.
Marketplace?
Yeah, like the whole market, like that was not a thing there for like so long. You lived on your little farm, your homestead. You did everything yourself. You made your own candles. You made your own clothing, like everything. You did not have like specialists. Like there was a doctor that would come out and stuff, things like that. But like just fixed your own roof leaks, and you did everything yourself. And it's so interesting nowadays. You have all these technically specialists.
Yeah,
like you have the plumber, the electrician. That like we farm it all out to the guy that can do it much more efficiently. And like Josh does general contracting, so he can get into a lot of things. Like he can do drywalling when he's redoing the kitchen and putting in he does a little bit of plumbing and things like that. But he said the way to make money is to hire things out to guys that do only that one thing.
Because they're much better at it.
Yeah. It's basically that factory mentality. But I'm like, oh my word, that sounds so boring. You're only doing one thing all the time. You're good at that one thing, and that's all you see and do all day long. So I don't know. Maybe in some ways those homesteaders were not as efficient, but they probably would have been a little more happy.
Maybe.
Like
they weren't bored.
But yeah, it is more efficient to get a specialist, I guess, for things if you can afford it. But yeah, there's one thing you can't find a specialist for, and that's parenting.
Nope.
You got to do that yourself.
You're on your own, kid.
And then the last one that I Googled was, what are some current slow living trends for 2025? Because that is a trend in itself, like the whole slow living thing. And it's something that I view as very aspirational. Like I feel like I have 4 kids. I have a small business on the side. I'm a wife. I'm running a home. I definitely don't feel like I'm on top of all the facets of my life. So I just am intrigued by this idea of slow living. And I don't necessarily do slow living, but I do romanticize things. Like I'll do the pretty version of stuff, or I'll just like, I don't know. Like my one friend, she just loves when I make her a coffee. But for me, I'm like, I love to make the coffee, like the act of like getting the pretty cup out and like, do I use the round ice or the nugget ice today? Like, which straw do I want? All that. But here it says, slow living is a lifestyle trend that emphasizes living intentionally and at a slower pace. It's about doing everything at the right speed rather than rushing through life. So maybe more like how our grandparents lived. They weren't trying to compete. They were just in their own little world. They weren't comparing themselves on social media to other people and how much they got done in a day.
Right.
Although, do we all compare ourselves to our mother?
Mm-hmm. I do.
My mom could have got all that done and more, But I have 4 kids, so it makes things a little slower.
Embracing mindfulness and self-awareness. It just sounds so, like, woke.
Sounds very meta, yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's not bad. I mean, being aware.
Being self-aware.
Some people need that a little bit. And I'm not exactly sure what being mindful means. I mean, I know what it means, but like, what do they mean by it? I don't know.
I mean, yeah. Prioritizing quality over quantity.
I love that.
That comes more as you age,
I am really trying to get Eric on board with that. Instead of having 16 shirts that don't fit.
I knew you were going to say shirts.
Can we have 3 that really do? I don't know. It's just, I am coming around to that way of life, and I wish that I could get Eric on board. And I think I am. Maybe I'm going to keep working on it gently.
I don't know. But I grew up that once a year, my dad would come in and be like, where's this shirt? Blah, blah, blah. And mom would be like sheepish and sneaky because she got so sick of all of his company, like free shirts that he gets with like the logos on the back. And
my brother exclusively wears free shirts.
He's proud of it too. Like that's his goal in life. He's like, I don't buy shirts. My budget is 0.
But I mean, okay, I should preach to myself too, because how many Amazon sweaters do I have when I could buy a more quality, natural fibers, whatever. And I am trying to do that more, like buy quality pieces that will last longer, but like sometimes I really just want the cute junk. So
honesty is a trend for 2025. Self-awareness. You're very self-aware, Jada.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's be mindful.
Valuing experiences over material possessions. Well, that's just me. I love quality time and stuff, so I would much rather have the experience over a possession. Engaging in hobbies like gardening, reading, and journaling. I never feel more rich than when I have time for a hobby, because that means you have excessive time, excessive health, like if you have time to do a hobby, you are so well off in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's a luxury. Cooking.
Tell that to Eric and his golfing.
Oh yeah, well, that's not.
It's a luxury, Eric.
No, Josh thinks it's a necessity for his mental health. He's like, I don't pay for counseling. I just go out on the golf
I agree
course.
with that. I support that. That's fine.
In moderation.
Yes.
Being self-aware. Being mindful of how often we're golfing.
Did you hear that the word of the year is demure?
You're kidding. Oh my goodness.
I mean, at least it's not like Riz or something.
Yeah,
It's actually an
true.
actual word.
Cooking homemade meals and enjoying nature. Oh my
Love
goodness.
it.
So like eating al fresco outside.
Love it.
I have a patio. I love that. Yes, let's do more of it. Reducing screen time and social media use. That's been trending, and I think it will continue to.
That's good.
Like people are learning like there's nobody that's going to make a boundary for them. They're just going to have to self-police. Yeah. We all have our own quota before it's like enough. Focusing on mental health and wellness. We talked about that already. So yeah, what do you guys think? Did we say anything that you strongly agree with or strongly disagree with? What are some trends that you hope stick around or leave? I would love to know. Yeah, and I think we're probably all mostly on the same page that we're older and wiser and more self-aware.
Yeah.
That we don't necessarily care about the trends that much. But
it's interesting though.
Trends tend to influence us without us even knowing.
For sure.
I think it's safe to say we're both ready to leave 2024 behind us.
Yes.
And move on to a new year, fresh beginnings, hopefully a sunnier year all around.
I hope so.
And yeah.
That was the ins, and now we're out.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.